Welcome back to the channel, guys. Let's get straight into today's story. Labour is once again floating the idea of dragging Britain back into European schemes we deliberately voted to leave, and this time it's the Erasmus programme. According to reports, Labour figures are talking about opening Britain's doors to tens of thousands of EU students through Erasmus, presenting it as some kind of harmless cultural exchange. But when you actually look past the warm words and glossy slogans, this isn't about students at all. It's about reopening channels of alignment with the EU that the British public very clearly rejected. Now, Erasmus is often sold as a student exchange scheme, but it comes with political strings attached. Participation isn't just about sending British students abroad for a semester. It involves financial contributions, regulatory alignment, and acceptance of EU frameworks that go far beyond education. That's why the UK replaced Erasmus with the Turing scheme after Brexit, giving British students global opportunities without tying the country back into EU structures. Labour knows this, but they also know Erasmus sounds friendly and non-threatening to voters who aren't paying close attention. What's really striking is how familiar this strategy feels. Every time Labour wants to soften the ground for closer EU alignment, they start with something that sounds small and sensible. First it's Erasmus, then it's customs cooperation, then it's regulatory alignment for convenience. Before long, Britain is once again following EU rules without a vote, without control and without the ability to say no. It's Brexit by stealth and it's happening right in front of us. Labour claims this would be about opportunity and fairness, but they never seem willing to talk honestly about cost or control. Erasmus isn't free. British taxpayers would be expected to contribute to a shared EU budget for the scheme, while having less influence over how it's run. At a time when public services are stretched and household costs remain high, Labour seems remarkably relaxed about committing money to Brussels-run programmes instead of fixing problems at home. There's also the question of priorities. Why is Labour so focused in making it easier for EU students to come to Britain when young people here are struggling with housing, tuition costs and job prospects? The Turing scheme always allowed UK students to study abroad, not just in Europe but around the world. If Labour genuinely cared about opportunity, they'd improve and expand that system rather than trying to resurrect an EU programme that symbolises everything voters rejected in 2016. Now, let's be honest about the politics. This isn't being driven by public demand. It's been driven by pro-EU activists, lobby groups and figures inside Labour who never accepted Brexit in the first place. Erasmus is a flag they can wave without immediately alarming voters. But the direction of travel is obvious. More EU alignment, more shared scheme and less national decision making. What makes this even more concerning is the lack of straight answers. Labour avoids clear commitments, speaking instead in vague language about exploring options and rebuilding trust. That usually means doing things quietly, hoping no one notices until it's too late. But people are noticing. They remember how slow reversals start and they don't trust politicians who treat major constitutional changes like minor admin tweaks. Now, for me, this isn't about being anti-student or anti-travel. It's about sovereignty and honesty. Britain already has a global alternative that works. Rejoining Erasmus wouldn't expand freedom, it would narrow Britain's independence and reopen doors we deliberately closed. If Labour wants to open the Brexit debate, they should at least be honest enough to say so. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want more honest political commentary and don't want to miss what's really happening behind the headlines, hit that subscribe button and drop your thoughts in the comments below.